Alright guys, so I'm back now. So I'll add these and show you. So we got to the part where I was showing you this is the ASA on EVE-NG by the name. And yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it will be quite cool, Jamal, if you use these emulators, so EVE and GNS3 for your final year project. I think that'd be quite cool. Back. Okay, so this one's EVE-NG ASA, and I'll just add the ASA, and this one is the ASA from GNS3. So our aim is to, like I say, VMnet2 is to make sure they both join up. So if I just check the base on one, it should be one interface. I've already got the network configured. So let's go on this one. T, and it'll be interface. Interface gigabit 0. Interface gigabit 0. Call this 1. IP address. We're gonna get 200.3/248 and not sure. As you can see there, we've got connectivity now from GNS3 to EVE-NG. So we're basically connecting from in GNS3's environment here from the ASA, and we're routing across VMnet2 and we're reaching EVE-NG ASA. So again, if we do that from EVE-NG ASA, so if we ping 200.200.200.3, you can see we can reach the ASA in GNS3, and yeah, that's cool. Then from there, what we could do is we could route traffic out. So let me just see what route it is. Show route. So yeah, we've got a default route going out to my physical network. So let me just make sure I can ping. Yeah, cool. So if I can do that, let's see if this can. Let's do route 100. Next stop is 200.200.1. Show route. So let's see if we can ping 8.8.8, and I don't think it's gonna happen because just got login on here. Show login. So we've got ICMP and Outbound. So yeah, tear down localhost. So I went to from the WAN to outside. But yeah, this will probably require a little bit more troubleshooting from my side. But yeah, I mean, like I say, you've seen there now. You can basically have two environments open, so GNS3 and Eve, and you can set up your interfaces so that you can have pretty much a separate branch in GNS3, and you can route it across into Eve NG. So in my case here, so I could, if I had these devices powered on and access lists and whatnot configured on the ASAs, I should be able to then route from GNS3 into, let's say, my virtual DMZ from GNS3. So it is it's quite cool when you think of it, or at least I think it's quite cool when you think about it, and quite useful if you don't want to. So for instance, my use case for this is that I have where is it, in my DMZ on this topology, I have my ICE VM already set up and configured here. So other than importing it all to Eve NG, I could just keep running it from GNS3. Yes, it'll probably require more resources because you're using GNS3 as well as Eve NG, but I can then route from my Eve NG topology through to my GNS3 topology and access ICE and do whatever I want. And theoretically, what I should then be able to do as well with my physical devices as well is that once I've got this external connectivity set up, I should then be able to have my physical, let's say I've got my physical devices, just imagine my physical devices being here on the same network. I should then be able to route or do, say for instance, CCIE Security, you need to be able to do .1x authentication through switch ports and connecting to ICE. So what I should theoretically be able to do is have a device on the outside of my physical network and be able to route it to ICE to authenticate, etc. So you should be able to mix and match. So yeah, it's quite cool in that sense. I spent a while last week getting it set up, and yeah, I wanted to share it with you guys. So yeah, hopefully you can kind of put that to some use, or you got your own use cases to do that. But yeah, it's definitely a cool resource. So that's that. And yeah, so I wanted to show you guys that. No problem, Jamal. Whether I do a full video on it, I might do, I might not. Depends if people are still struggling to get it set up. We'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. So I'm just going to quickly look at my blueprint now and see what else I need to do today study wise. I have clustering, which needs to be done on physical devices because it's not supported virtual. HA, so I've already done HA, so I've got HAs in active standby failovers. Active can only be done with physical devices. All this what I've been doing so far with the blueprint is mainly to do, well, for the perimeter security and intrusion prevention, is mainly to do with the ASA because I've not sorted out my FTD stuff yet. I do have my FTD stuff here. So firepower, next gen IPS, FTD here, FMC. So I have got them there, but I've not set them up yet. So that's kind of probably going to be next week really, so I just thought I'd focus on the ASA stuff at the moment. So we've looked at some secure routing stuff today in my stream. Describe, implement and troubleshoot different deployment modes such as rooted, transparent, single and multi-context mode. So again, multi-context mode needs to be done with physical devices, because ASAV don't support multi-context mode. So if we do we tried to do it mode multiple, the command's not there. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, so you can't do that. I could do NAT PAT stuff. I think I've done a video on that before to do with the SA. I could do that. Zone-based firewalls, I've done that again on iOS devices. I've done a video of that, so I'm not gonna really do another one on that. I think what I'll do is I'll just review those topics for myself. Describe, optimize and troubleshoot policies and rules for traffic control on the Cisco ASA. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that for now. Describe, implement, troubleshoot Cisco FMC. So I've not set up the FMC yet, but that is something that I'm going to be looking at doing later on. Next gen firewall, SSL inspection, describe, detect, mitigate, DDoS technique, spoofing, man in the middle. Yeah, so really that's yeah, describing. So again, that's going to be more offline studying for me. So I guess what we could do is we could maybe take a look at some NAT on the ASA. Ooh, NAT. NAT can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but we can have a look at it. So alright, cool. So what we could do, I might as well stick with the same topology. And we'll have a look at, we might as well have a look at getting this connection sorted if we can. So let me just have a look here. Free. Building the connection. Just to have a look at the routes. .1. What if we change that to just see what the IP, because I think 200.1 is the virtual adapter IP address. It's actually 2. That interface. So Let me see what the physical adapter's IP address is. Get that up, then we'll take a look at that. Okay, so remember it was VMnet2. The IP address is 200.200.5. That the default gateway is 200.200. Yes. Okay, so let me cancel that. Should be able to ping 200.200.5, which is a physical adapter. Do a show walk for that. See if it's got that. Don't see it. So I do. Just remove this route a minute. Of it as 5. I'll redirect it. Before we get into I didn't change it, did I? So 5. Ping. Well, so if I ping where that connection goes, that con's not going via that. Okay, so we'll change the route back to EVNG's ASA, and I need to check sections on, so I'll go to that again. So if I try ping now, I should be able to see the con through the, yeah, so we can see the connection through the Eve ASA. See that it's routing it via the outside from the WAN. Quite cool, considering it's coming from GNS3. So the default gateway, and so show run include ICMP. So ICMP inspections on. DNS domain lookup on the outside. DNS domain lookup on the WAN. Why have I done that? I've done DNS domain lookup on the WAN because I've got an Active Directory controller, domain controller in GNS3 as well. So if I can ping google.com from EVNG ASA, DNS let's have a look at that. That'll be off by default. In fact, do is we go into the policy map. So we'll do policy map, global policy, score policy, do class inspection score default, and we're going to inspect ICMP. Ping. .3. Need to check what I'm going to do. In fact, I'm just going to check the network adapter for that. So just do that. And we'll look at some that. I might as well build some more of this topology. So that looks fine. Then anything that's going to I actually need NAT on this. In fact, not anything. One, I think my theory is correct. Let me just see what configuration I've got on here. Show that. Currently not in inside, but we're not in the one, so we need to NAT anything coming from one going to outside. Right, cool. So let's do some. We'll do port address translation. So we'll do object network. I'm going to call this 1, and we're going to give it the subnet of 200.200.200.0 a slash main, I think, yes. And what we could do is we can NAT on the object on the ASA. So again, I've done a video on this on my channel, so if you want to look at more about this, you can just go ahead and watch that video. It's on my YouTube channel somewhere, but I'll just quickly do it. So what we could do is we can NAT, and we're gonna NAT from 1 to outside, and it's gonna be dynamic. One thing I've always wondered about this is I noticed on the ASA sometimes some of the commands are not displayed, if that makes sense. So for instance, if I do question mark now, you can't see any dynamic there. However, for us to do pat on this, you can actually type dynamic. There you go. And we're going to do interface. So what this is saying is it's going to NAT on the outside interface for anything coming from one interface, and then we just like that. So if we do show NAT, you can see now that we're using anything from one interface going to outside. Source is dynamic, and we're using the a minute, is that right? Source, yeah, source is the dynamic for one interface, so it's using port address translation. That's, yep. So as you can see there, now we can ping out, so we're in that issue. So perfect timing, really. I said I wanted to do some NAT, and we can see there now that it can work. So now we can actually, what I've just done there is we can actually ping from GNS3 across to EVE-NG, and then from EVE-NG out to the internet. So if you don't think that's cool, then I don't know what is cool, but I think that's actually quite cool. So again, if I just do that and repeat it for 1,000 times, and then we'll just do show NAT, show XSplit. So you can see, let me cancel that real quick. So we can see on the XSplit table, we can see we're using port address translation, PAT, for the ICMP from the WAN interface. And the address that it's coming from is 200.200.200.3, which is a WAN interface IP. And then we're going to the outside, and it's port address translating that to, so again, it's port address translation that to from the outside interface of 192.168.1.33, which is this in. Let me just minimize that one. So it's this interface here on this ASA and EVE, then it's going out to the physical network. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, it works. Yeah, cheers Jamal. Yeah, it's you know, to be honest, I started playing with EVE-NG last year, and I guess you could say I kind of stuck in my ways because I didn't want to. I was so engaged in using GNS3, I couldn't be bothered trying to learn EVE-NG or something else. So I just kind of thought, yeah, let me just stick with GNS3. But last week I decided, okay, let me, for my CCIE studies, let me try and switch it up a little bit and see what EVE-NG is all about some more. So I kind of spent all day playing with EVE-NG, and yeah, I really enjoy it. But as you can see, I'm still using good old GNS3 as well, to, well, like I say, which I've just showed you, so we can actually still use my devices within GNS3. So yeah, pretty much what's just happened there is we've just been able to ping from this ASA in GNS3. It's come through here, it's gone across the VMnet adapter, if you like. It's gone, come down here, it's reached this ASA here, and we could route the traffic because I'm simulating a WAN IP, a public IP address anyway from the virtual network adapter, I had to NAT that IP address because obviously it's non-routable. So I had to NAT it on the ASA for it to get out to the internet. And likewise, if I were coming in from here, going to the DMZ down here, I'd have to NAT going into here. So you can be more specific with that. There's a lot more we can do in that. There's many ways that you can NAT, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens. So yeah, I think that's quite cool actually. So if we do a show NAT, we can see now on that rule that we created, we've got 110 translated hits. So that's the pings that I've been doing outside. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So basically what I can do now is I can effectively open up anything in GNS3. Let's say for instance I have, let me give you a use case. So basically I've got my virtual wireless LAN controller and I also have my ICE VM here. So what I can do, yes, you can put in Eve NG, but for me I've already got a fully functioning ICE node there, and I didn't want to kind of start off again and doing everything again, so I thought, right, I'll leave this in GNS3 and then I need to find a way so I can route over in from Eve NG if I'm going to be using that as well to authenticate. So essentially what we could do now is, which I might do in fact, is we can anything coming from inside this network, or anything, let's say for instance anything behind the network 200.200.200.0/29, it's going to be natted on the other side anyway. So anything in here can route across there. If you set a default gateway, anything can route across there, and then you've got access. Then obviously if you've got an ASA, you do it vice versa with the NAT and the access lists, etc. as well. So so let's do let me think of what we can do now. Yes, there is, Jamal. You can actually do quite a lot, in fact, with, well, like I've just, said, you can actually do quite a lot with separating both of these and doing it together. So I think it's quite cool. So what I'll do is I will, I might actually spin up everything here. Yeah, why not? Let's try it. Let's try it. So what I'm going to do, power off this ASA. That's the one I was just using. And just close that. And what I'm going to do is we'll that one. So let's just delete that one. And these devices in GNS3 are in a active standby, same as Eve NG. So what we'll do, and I've already got HSRP etc. configured here, and I've got a physical Windows, not physical, I've got a virtual Windows 7 lab machine here. So we've pretty much got a network here ourselves. So we've got a network inside here. So let's try and see if we can get this Windows 7 lab PC onto the internet, routing through here, then go through Eve NG, then out to the internet. So let's see if we can do that. Hopefully my resources on my computer are going to be okay for this. We don't need to run the secondary firewall anyway, but we'll just run the first one. Start that, and we've got HSRP, like I said, running here with tracking. I'll I won't start the second one because I don't need it. That's just failover stuff. And once these have loaded, we'll start the Windows 7 machine. That's the distribution switch. And I don't think the configs are stored. That's one thing, actually. That's one thing that I want to point out with EVE-NG, is that the configurations, you can power off the devices. It saves your topology. It saves the config. It's quite cool. Whereas with GNS3, it doesn't save your configs. Or at least it doesn't save mine anyway, so that's you've always got to keep putting the configs back in. I do think actually maybe with these newer versions it does. Let me just check. Yeah, look, no. So that's just a blank template again. So we need to add the config again for this. So if I just quickly, luckily I have saved the config from when I was doing this, so let me just find the config and I'll re-add this. Once I find it, alright, cool. So I found the config. I'm just going to paste that in now. So that's that done for that. You'll start seeing the HSRP informational messages in a minute. Let me power connect to the ASA. So this is the ASA in GNS3, and again I don't think this has a configs, so that's one. In fact, look at that. So it has still got the configs. 200.4 is the interface IP. So can I, let me show NAT, because I've been doing some configuration on this. So NAT from inside to outside, and it's using, yeah, so we've got NAT from inside to outside. Let me just do a show route. So it's routing via EVE-NG, so that's good. So now we can power up the Windows 7 device, and let's try to get some connectivity out to the internet. This I've not actually tried yet, so this is new to me as well. So let's try that. I mean, I know we can reach outside the internet, but let's see if we can actually use the virtual Windows 7 machine to actually browse web pages, etc. So let that power up, and then I will share that with you as well. Here, put it on there for you. Guys, to the Windows 7 VM. So let's join this. And another cool thing that we'll be able to do is that, let's say for instance you get an Active Directory domain controller like I do. You'd be able to join a virtual domain with physical devices. So again, I think that's a cool thing that you can do. Let's see what network this is on. And it's on 50.5. Let's switch back to the topology, and that is not the right network, so it should be 100.5. Let's change that quickly. and this is actually joined to my virtual domain, so that's why I've got to do this. As you can see, my domain's called WizKid, and I can't remember my password. Yeah, I can. There we go. So let's do 100.5. 100.1 will be the gateway. Just do DNS as we could do that, but it's not. It's just going to be doing a lookup anyway. So join that network. We've got a little caution sign, no internet access, but let's have a look. So we don't have connectivity by the looks of it, so let's come back to the lab. So now let's do show interface. Right, so what one is that on? Show for 100.2, so that one is yeah, we could still look at standby. So let's show standby brief. So yeah, again we can see that that's local. The standby is unknown because I have not powered on the secondary switch. That's good, Jamal. You know your commands there, CCNA stuff. So where was I? Let's do show interface brief. Does that work? Show IP interface. VLAN. So that's up. Let me just recall how this is connected. So PC is that. So can I ping the PC 100.5? I can ping the PC, ping 192.168 100.1, which will be the gateway. I can ping that. Fast Ethernet 0.1. .2, so that's 100.1. Let me just go back to let's have a look at the ASA. ASA show IP address. Inside is 100.6, so what's 100? 100.2 must be switch here. I then ping the gateway. Sure, I route. So by 100.6, so that's the ASA interface, 192.168, 100.6. So ICMP might be show run include the inspect ICMP is on, show run access lists, limit IP from inside network to any. So let's do limit ICMP, copy that. Oops, global config. Okay. Got login on, sign up. Enable login. Debugging, show login. That again. So 6. We have that from let's do DNS domain lookup to outside. Let's see if the ASA can ping out. So the ASA can ping .com DNS. So domain lookup outside, so that's on. Out from there, so if that's the case, and the distribution switch ping good luck with that one, Jamal. Hopefully you get it first time round. So that's not successful. So think about this. Gotten that already, but we ain't got no translated hits. Let's do show object group, show run object. That's the network, so that looks right. That looks right. So NAT from the inside interface to the outside interface. Source is dynamic inside net, which is that object group, so that looks correct. So is it something to do with the switch? Oh. I've encountered these switch problems before, so maybe let's take a look at, let me try this. I removed that which was in there for failover. and I connect, what interface was it again? It probably worth show IP address. Side is on gig 00, and we need to check what that is on. Show interface trunk, fast Ethernet. Show interface. Zero. Actually, let's just try configure it anyway. I think it was 00. Anyway, that's in. So about show app. So we can only see outside. So maybe it's a switch. What issues have I had with this before? The issues I've had before is with the virtual MAC address. Let me do show standby. So I actually configured that MAC address. So what if I do fast interface fast Ethernet 01 shutdown and no shutdown. Let's see if this works. I mean, this is just a problem with the image. If it works. One. One 1.5 is complete. So is the IP address 1.5? And on here 1.5. .5 ping 5. Yes, that works. So that must be the show run failover. Active unit. So show app. Show app. Oh no, sorry, silly me. 100.5 is a PC in it, so we can ping to the PC, so we know that already. 100.6 is incomplete, so that is the IP address of the ASA firewall interface. So what we need to do, we need to check that up. Set up. do a show route. So I've got a default route pointing to E then G, and is it the that's fast? Wrong one. We jump back onto the and I think I'd do show VLAN brief. I hate when it does that. So this is the old image of show VLANs. So the commands are different. Did I not have VLAN? Because I thought that were in not in VLAN. VLAN. Show interface. Fast Ethernet 01 switch port. Disabled, so that's routing. That's trunking, but what's show IP address? That's something to do with maybe that's switch at the moment. I tell you what I'll do just to speed things up a little bit. Let's disconnect this. What we'll do, we'll bypass that for the minute. We'll go straight to that interface, was it? And so I can ping that. Showing up. That's better. So now I can see that there. So if we switch back then to getting timeout, where was I trying to ping? Was it 8.8.8? Yep. So we're trying to ping, so I can type ping 192.168.100.6. And now I can ping the ASA. So now we need to work out the connectivity outbound. So let's go back to our firewall. And let's do show run access list. Show access group. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'll be right back. I'm back. Just a quick Amazon delivery. Okay, so show run access group. Access groups in place. Show access list. No hit count on any of them. Object. Can I ping? See how far we can get. So can I ping even G? The issue then is relating to settings again. That's our problem. Default. Let's see if that works. Minimize that for now. Now we can ping that, so that's right. So with the default gateway on the device. So now we can ping out. And if we go back to firewall and we do show access list, see now that we're getting hits on here in IP any. So this should keep going up at 37 there. So the reason it's not in an ICMP one because it's allowing it on here anyway. So we could check that out and be a little bit more specific. So let's see now. Oh, look, we can see that the icon got internet access and browse out to the internet. So what we're doing is we're browsing through GNS3 and we're going to EVE-NG and then we're getting routed out. Let's go to google.co.uk. So DNS resolution is okay. I resolve in that's not worked, so let's have a look at the false. Got cons there. Look, so these are all DNS, so it's requesting DNS port 53. So on DNS, and know that that's been permitted. Show show login. So that should be fine on the GNS ASA. Get the over ASA. .com. So there's our problem. So it looks like DNS is being denied. So this is coming from, so our source is going to show us 200.4. And the reason being is that we're natting, if you remember, on the GNS free ASA interface. And then the destination is requesting DNS to obviously resolve google.co.uk, which is port 53 here. And what we can see is it's denying the UDP. So we need to permit that from the WAN to outside. So if we just do show run access list. So as you can see, we only have an access list that's permitting one ICMP to any. So let's do that's the early IP. That's the early access list. Sorry, I was just thinking about this. So we're gonna do, yeah, let's do we're gonna permit what do we call the object? In fact, show object, show run object, called it one. So we're gonna permit anything from one. Let's do access list one extended permit. So we could be proper specific, and obviously when you're working with firewalls or when you're in security, you need to be as specific as possible. Obviously permitting IP any is not the way forward. Permitting IP any is not the way for permitting ICMP or IP any is not the way forward. You need to be very specific. So what we could do is here we specify the protocol here. So let's do 53. And we're going to use the object that we created called one. So we're permitting port 53 from anything that comes under the subnet, anything that comes under the subject one. And then the destination is where we're going to allow the destination. So we're permitting, think about this, so DNS 53, we're resolving to Google's DNS at 8.8.8, so our destination is going to be 8.8.8. so 8.8.8, and the net mask, that's the host, so it'll be 255.255.255.255, and then that's it. Let's do that. Now we should be able to resolve. So if we go back to, and let's see if it resolves that host. It does. No, it's not done it. DNS Pro finished. Make sure our settings are right on there. I think they are. I think from what we did. Well, let's take a look at. Yeah, so we've got our correct settings in there. So we know it's not the device. So we need to check the firewalls again. So let's just do show access list. can see that we've not got a hit. 8.8. Let's just do a show login. So it's still getting denied. So if I do show run access group, interface 1, yep. So it's coming inbound from 1. My bad. Sorry. I think it's done. Let's remove this and let's do it again. In fact, we'll write it out from here. In fact, that should have been right, in fact. Yeah, no, sorry, that's me. So we need to permit UDP from object 1, and we're going to 8.8.8.8 255.255.255.255, and it's equal to 53. There we go. That should work. Back to this code. And connection refused. So it's refused to connect to google.co.uk. So again, let's go here. And this is the thing, when you're very specific with your rules, you can end up having to add a lot of things. So you really need to understand the flow of the traffic. So let's just do a show login on this device. See here now. See here. That flow is permitted now for the rule that we just did. If we just do show access list, you can see there that now that we're getting hits on this here. That's working, but why are we getting connection refused? Yeah. Let's have a look on the GNS3 airs here. This should all be fine, I think. Yeah, because we've got permit IP any on this firewall. So show access list, so this should be fine. Yeah, permit IP any, so that'll be hitting that rule. So that's fine. Yes, I was actually thinking about doing that, Jamal, but in essence it shouldn't be refusing the connection. So I'm a bit wondering. Let's try it. I think it might actually be off, but let's try it. Firewall. Yeah, it's already off, so yeah, I wouldn't see that refusing the connection to the internet. So what about if we do google.com? Yeah, we get refused to google.com as well, so I think it's something to do with the firewalls. So we will find the problem and we will fix it, because that's what we do. Connection refused, so look, it's denying TCP from that. That's, yeah, silly me. We're not permitted port 80 or DNS. Yeah, I'm glad you're finding it interesting. So yeah, port 443, port 80 needs to be permitted obviously as well, which I didn't think. Yeah, I mean, you're still at obviously ICND 1 level, CCNA level routing and switching. So this is more related to the ASAs. I mean, when I was at that level, I didn't understand ASAs or security, etc. But this is now my job. This is, you know, what I'm doing. So, you know, if you end up going down the security route, you know, you'll have much fun working on these devices. So yeah, if I now allow these, well, because let me just do a show run access list. So like I said, with security and especially firewalls, you need to really be as specific as possible. So in essence, this ICMP any rule, this wouldn't be on the firewall. This access list that's permitting DNS, yeah, you need to be really specific. But yeah, don't worry. I mean, you can work with ASAs, just spinning up obviously virtual AVs, or get yourself access to 55, or I'd probably recommend a 5506 minimum now, because of 5505s, they're still good, but you're not really coming across them now. So I'd recommend those, especially if you're looking at maybe embedding security into your final year project. I would also you know, consider starting to use ASA V now and getting used to EVE-NG and GNS3 if you've not already got used to it. So what we'll do now is we'll create an access list that's going to permit TCP from anything coming over the WAN, going to, where's it going? That's a good point. So we could permit it to any, because as long as it's equal to 443, which is HTTPS, and then we'll also do one for port 80. We should be good. So now this should work. So let's reload it, and there we go. Loading, we've got access. It's good. So this is using obviously HTTPS, so it's using 443. So we should have received some hits against 443. Let's have a look. Show access lists. I'll just include 443. And it'll be HTTPS. It would have changed it. There you go. So we've got 5 hits now. So that's why it's working now. So if we just do show login. So what else is being denied here? So from 443 going to, oh, was that earlier on? Hold on. And so that should be, I mean, well, yeah, it's working. I mean, we've seen it working here. So google.co.uk. Yep, cool. That there. Google.co.uk is loading. And if we go back onto the firewall, do show login. 1, 2, 2. So that should be show run access list. Allow. So this is look, this is denying UDP. it must be using UDP as well. So let's do let's add an access list that emits 443, but instead of using TCP. Alright, cool. So Note should be getting blocked now. We just search Sky News, for example. This to load. It load in the background there anyway. If we just do a show access list, see that the UDP one has 2 hits now as well. And then if we flip back now, we can see that this is ready. Let's just accept all this. Browse. Let's test that. Establish secure connection over 443. Be able to show that connection if we do a show con. See this connection here. That's the address that's used by likes of Sky One or whatever. Got your flags as well. Back. You can see it's starting to load now. Loading. Take some time, but yep, so there you go. So we've managed to get internet access. Go back to the lab. So we managed to get internet access from all the way down here in GNS3, routing through this firewall. So through this, let's say for instance this is branch 1 firewall, so routing through here, and then it's being translated, it's going across the virtual network, and then we're getting to this firewall here in EVE-NG. And if we wanted to, like I say, we could obviously reach different devices in here, but in our case what we're doing so far is we're routing them from the ASA V out to my rail network, which is resolving DNS and everything out to my rail network, and then we're bringing that connectivity back in across the virtual network back into GNS3, and we've got internet access. So to me that's pretty damn cool. So that's what's happening there, and this then gives me the ability, like I said earlier before, I can then add devices, my physical devices I can add and then connect through my network to the virtual devices as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how it's done, and that's it. So I'm gonna call it a day today. I'm gonna do a little bit more reading, and yeah, I hope those that have watched, I hope you found this useful. You know, it's a learning process for everybody, so it's still a learning process for me as well. But yeah, hopefully you found that useful. I might do some more through the week or next week. So yeah, cool. Thanks for watching as well, Jamal. I think you've been tuned in the whole time. It's been pretty much all day. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you found that useful. And good luck with your ICND 2. And yeah, let me know how you get on. Thanks a lot. Brilliant, good. Alright, cool. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.